Hello, Jumping Kids. Welcome back. It's great to see you again and have you here so that you can continue to learn about my work and my ministry. I am Jesus. Last week we talked about my baptism in the Jordan River and then how I called those first apostles, the four fishermen apostles, Peter and Andrew and James and John, to come follow me. This week I want to tell you a little bit about my early ministry. I went around, not only did I call those first four apostles, but I called 8 more to be my 12 apostles. We went around the Sea of Galilee, a beautiful lakeside sea with hills and all sorts of farming and animals growing around it. And we started telling the stories of the kingdom of heaven, how God was near. We did great miracles. We healed the sick. We gave hope to people who were poor and were hurting. One day, I had gathered a great crowd who had come to hear me speak of God's promises and God's love. 5,000 men. Think about that. 5,000 men plus their wives and their children. There were probably almost 10,000 people gathered all around on the edge of the sea. It got late as the sun began to go down, and I had talked so long that I had forgotten that the people needed to eat and they were hungry. So my apostles came to me and they said, "Jesus, send the crowds away. They are hungry." And I thought to myself, wait a minute. I've kept them here all day, telling them of the kingdom of heaven and all of God's promises. I have to feed them. I have to do something for them. So I said to the apostles, don't send them away, but find some food. They looked around in the crowds, and they couldn't find anyone but one small little boy, just like you, about your age and about your size. And they brought him, and he came to me, and he said, "Lord Jesus, I have 5 loaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 fish. 2 fish from the sea." And the apostles looked at the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and they said, "How can we possibly feed all of these people, almost 10,000 people, men and women and children, with 5 loaves and 2 fish?" And I said, "Oh, my disciples, worry not. Does not God do wondrous things? Does not God take care of us, especially when we need God's help?" And I prayed, "Oh, Father in heaven, multiply the bread, multiply the fish, that the people may eat." So then they took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and the apostles started to go throughout the crowd. Almost 10,000 people. It took them almost 2 hours to hand out all the food. And when they were done, there were 12 big baskets left over, about this big, of the bread and the fish. The miracle multiplied the bread and the fish so much that not only did all the people eat, but we had that much more left over. And that, my friends, is our message for today. That when we need God's grace, when we need God's blessings, God gives us everything we need and that much more. And the apostles learned an important lesson that day. They learned that when we look to God and trust in God, God does what needs to be done. Next week, I'll be back to tell you more great stories about the kingdom of heaven. Have a great week, and always look to God to help you. Bye-bye.